Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm continuing my series about the recently passed Greg Bear with his second science fiction story, actually more of a fantasy story, titled Webster. This was published in 1973 in a book called Alternities, an anthology edited by David Gerald and Stephen Golden. That was published. It wasn't published until July of 1974. And so this is number 2 of Greg Bear's stories, very early in his career. The story is about a woman who is very lonely, but she isn't happy with the relationships that she's been getting into, and she's looking for something better. And I forget what it was that prompted her to do this, but she opens up her dictionary to the dictionary definition of man and reads it, and somehow conjures a man out of the dictionary, who then of course is called Webster. It's a very short, very funny story. Definitely a fantasy, well written, enjoyable. It's nothing great. It's just a fun story. And I really don't feel I can say too much more about it. Unfortunately, it's not a deep story. There's no great deep thoughts here, unless you want to get into thoughts about finding the right person, or finding anyone to not be alone in your life. Loneliness is a really big problem in our world, and does lead people to do desperate things to try and solve it. But this story doesn't solve it in any reasonable way. If you want to read the story, the edition I have it in, this is a Science Fiction Book Club edition of the short story collection Tangents by Greg Bear. This was published, I believe, in the 1980s. Has a beautiful cover illustration by Jim Burns. Jacket illustration by Jim Burns of some kind of futuristic city. Jim Burns is a great illustrator, and this is a very great illustration, one of his best, I think. I like it anyway. And it's a whole collection of many of Greg Bear's shorter works. And so I will be digging into this a lot more as we go through this Greg Bear series. Blood Music is in here, A Martian Ricorso is in here, Schrodinger's Plague is in here, Tangents, of course, The Machineries of Joy. It's a very good collection of Bear's work. And very sad that he is gone from us and will not producing more fiction like that. So, leave comments. Like us, subscribe to us, come on back for more. I will be trying to go through everything Greg Bear wrote, assuming I can get a hold of it all. So everything I can get my hands on, I'll read it, and I'll do a video on it until I run out of Greg Bear stories to talk about. But also check us out on our other accounts, Goodreads, Instagram, Facebook, our own website, where I have a complete bibliography. That's where I put my notes, and what I'm always referring to on my iPad is my own website that I build and maintain. There's a lot that's not on it, but there's a lot that's on it, and I'm constantly working on it, constantly building it. Excuse the fact that there are certain features that you would probably like to have or think should be there or are absolutely essential that I haven't had time to build yet, like search features. Sorry, can't search the site. That will be coming as I continue to work on this website and continue to build it. But for now, you can go to the author's page and find Greg Bear and click on Greg Bear, and you'll see the list of all of his fiction, and you can click on any one of them and get whatever details I have been able to dig up. Beyond that, we are starting a Patreon channel, a Patreon account, where you can subscribe. We're going to put some content, very possibly content like this video, is going to start going into our Patreon. We're going to reduce a little bit the number of videos we're putting out on YouTube, and we're going to put a lot of content on our Patreon account. You'll also be getting our content. Even the stuff we put on YouTube is going to be in the Patreon account first, so you'll get access to it ahead of everybody else, and there will be some exclusive content going in there, and lots more stuff that this is all new to us, so we're still working out what all to put in there, and a lot of it's going to be trial and error for a while, finding out what you want. The money from this is going to support our goals of ultimately publishing a book. And so I hope you'll support us in that and join us on Patreon. Help support our efforts. And help us to do more and better content like this in the future. And just keep, if nothing else, come on back to YouTube. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be doing a lot of content on YouTube. So you probably won't miss anything if you don't join Patreon. Well, you will be missing stuff if you don't join the Patreon, but you won't know what you're missing. If you only come to the YouTube, you'll still see a lot of the stuff that you've been enjoying from us in the past. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one, and maybe on Patreon.